#1 contender for 3 straight pay-per-views now. It's clear of where Lilly and Alexa Bliss's next victim lies, and Elias and Jackson Riker really said nope. All that more as we dissect last night's Memorial Day edition of Monday Night Raw. Welcome to a brand new episode of Can We Talk Wrestling, and we are starting now after a pretty good pay-per-view. I was excited for Monday Night Raw. Now, this Raw was pretty decent. There was some good, some bad, some interesting. But let's start off with Reginald and Shayna Baszler. Now, obviously from last week, we were very interested in what this necessarily meant. I think speaking of when Reginald wrestled Sasha Banks and also Tamina, it was very interesting to see where or what exactly Reginald was doing. And Reginald won clean after a fire explosive from the ring post. Now, Alexa Bliss on the playground very much asked Reginald to come play with her. And they were talking about Circus Olay and talking about the big win when Shayna comes up from behind and attacks Reginald. Shayna sits and goes, "Me and you need to have a talk. This is getting ridiculous. I see your little game. Me and you are going to have a problem if you don't stop soon." And looks at Lilly and says, "You're just a stupid doll anyway." So obviously this is revealing that Alexa Bliss's first feud and the Fiend character is going to be Shayna Baszler. This is very interesting. I thought maybe I wouldn't say that she should go after the Raw Women's Championship right away, but it's interesting that this is the segue we're going to get, because I had figured, they should just put Shayna and Nia right in the Raw Women's Championship division. I don't know what they're going to do with Nia now. I don't know if maybe Reginald and Nia are going to be a thing, and that's where we're going to lead. But it's interesting to see, and I do agree with everyone that really just said, looking at what Shayna was in NXT or even on the Independents, and now, after her feud with Becky at Mania, they basically ruined Shayna. Shayna's someone I would argue who I would really not mind her going back down to NXT after this whole Alexa thing. But who knows, maybe it'll be good. Have to see. But also, speaking of quick, weird things, we gotta talk about 2 things, which is Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. So, obviously, we've seen over the past couple weeks, this feud. They broke up. Cedric turned mega heel. Shelton's a babyface now. And Cedric Alexander beat Shelton Benjamin in 2 minutes. What was the point? I can understand if, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric were, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the past 2 weeks, Cedric has won basically clean. So why do we have to have this third time? They've wrestled 4 times. Sheldon won the first one, then Cedric won the last 2, and now he won tonight. What's the point? Just move on. I would not mind. Obviously, Sheamus is a heel, which kind of stops my tracks, but I would not mind Cedric going after the U.S. title, or maybe a potential brand split or something, and maybe Cedric going over to SmackDown and challenge. Well, I mean, that also is also a heel. Him doing something with a title. I would not mind seeing him by the end of 2021 holding a U.S. or Intercontinental Championship. But I said it's not going to happen. But if it does, you're here first. But also, speaking of 2-minute things, we got some storyline continuation with the 2-minute challenge from last week. Obviously, last week, Charlotte challenged Rhea Ripley to beat Nikki Cross in 2 minutes. Nikki Cross obviously won. Rhea couldn't do it. Miz TV kicks off Monday Night Raw. And, Miz did confirm that for the first time in his career, he did tear his ACL, so feel better. For having a near 12, 13-year career, only getting injured once, that's pretty freaking good. Just saying, I see you, Miz. And it was funny, too, because Morrison had, a garlic necklace to, shoo away zombies, vampires, or any type of mythical monstrous creature that could come. So that was kind of funny. So Rhea and Charlotte are here, and, They're talking about the Hell in a Cell match coming up because obviously it was determined last week that Charlotte is the #1 contender. And Nikki came out and Nikki goes, oh, you know, like, I beat Rhea, so, like, can I get a title opportunity after Hell in a Cell? And it was deemed, oh, if you could beat Charlotte in 2 minutes, sure. And Charlotte was so confident, I could beat her in 1 minute, I don't even need to. Nikki won again. I don't mind this, but I feel like this isn't going to go well because then Nikki's just going to get squashed in a match with, I'm assuming, Rhea, the Raw after Hell in a Cell, or even next week. So I don't really like the payoff in this because then Nikki's just going to disappear off TV. And the only thing I could see is if Rhea wins and then Rhea and Nikki's going to be the feud of Money in the Bank. That would be something I could be intrigued in because it means you're using, I just want you to use Nikki Cross. That's all I want in life. Because Nikki's super talented. And ever since her and Alexa split up, they've had nothing to do with her. And that makes me really sad. So please, please, for the love of God, use this girl. She's talented. Kofi and Drew. So, obviously, the main event of tonight was Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre. The winner of this was going to wrestle Bobby Lashley in Hell in a Cell in a Hell in a Cell match. And if Bobby Lashley or MVP came ringside at any point during the match, they were going to be suspended 90 days without pay. So they were in the back with Bobby Lashley's cheerleaders, if I remember that's what I called them last week. And this was such a good match. There were multiple points where you really thought Kofi was going to win, you thought Drew McIntyre was going to win, but obviously in the end, I guess we all just need Drew McIntyre, because apparently Drew McIntyre's not in a title match on a pay-per-view, the whole world ends. So I'm mad about this, because I would not have minded seeing Bobby and Kofi. I think because, you know, in real life they are very close friends. MVP even mentioned, you know, when talking about Kofi winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 35, he was in tears because so many fans saw that video of MVP and Shad watching that together and then being like really emotional about it. So I would not mind seeing this feud. I think it'd be really cool and interesting. But now you have Drew. Drew shouldn't win. And then what are you going to do? My low-key fears are going to have Drew win the Money in the Bank. Which I don't even, that's what they're probably going to do now because I said it. So that's really my problem with this is I want to see Bobby in new feuds. We've literally seen, this is going to be Bobby Drew, I think either 4 or 5. So that makes me kind of upset because there's so much other talent that you can use, but you just got to keep going back. Like even talking about Cedric Alexander, I would not mind if somehow Cedric Alexander got a #1 contender match and then Cedric and Bobby for the world title because that's a story. You know, that's how you use your talent, storylines. They were in the Hurt Business. MVP kicked them out. Oh my God. You know, or even if you want to hurt Bobby face, have MVP go with Cedric. Storylines, people. So I'm not the happiest, and I really, really hope that whatever Reigns is doing at Hell in a Cell, or if this is going to end up with Rollins Cesaro in the Hell in a Cell, I really hope that Drew and Bobby do not main event. Because, just no. But, speaking of things breaking up, Elias and Jackson Ryker are no more. They had a tag team title match with AJ Styles and Omos, and Jackson Ryker and AJ were in the ring. Jackson Ryker goes to get the hot tag, and Elias jumps off the apron and walks to the back. AJ tags in Omos, and AJ and Omos get the win. This was an okay match. I obviously understand why they won, and I'm understanding that this is going to probably lead to AJ and Omos versus RK Bro, and then RK Bro is going to win tag titles, which to me is kind of upsetting because you actually have tag teams on your roster and you're giving them to teams that are just makeshift together, which is the whole problem with the tag team division to begin with. But this is intriguing to me because we've seen Elias just get put in very random storylines and never like really get an end goal. And Elias is one of the superstars that always seems to lose. So, like, I would not necessarily be surprised if Jackson Ryker wins this feud with Elias. Just because Elias never wins. And it's so disappointing because Elias works so hard. He has such a great character. And they're not going to do anything with him. Because for some reason, they just don't believe in Elias. And it shows. Because, remember, who was supposed to beat Rollins for the IC title? It was supposed to be Elias. But the plans got nicked. So I also didn't expect the turn. I liked his reasoning, we're going back on the road, and obviously I couldn't imagine like going on the road with him. So that was really interesting to me too, the way they're like flipping it. Oh, we're going on the road. Like, we're all making decisions. We're going back on the road. Thank you for mentioning it 700 million times. We get it. You're going back on the road. I know. You're still not coming to New York, so you're not helping me, WWE. But speaking of RK Bro, first of all, Randy Orton is rocking a goatee. I don't know how I feel about it. It's very interesting. I'm like, wow. Okay, Orton. But Riddle and Orton were doing a backstage segment, and Riddle was talking about, how he used the RKO, and Randy's like, like, we're supposed to be a tag team, like, why don't you come, like, watch my match with Xavier Woods, maybe learn a thing or two. And so last week, Riddle won with the RKO, and this week, Orton won with the Bro-daddle, I think he calls it. I don't know what Riddle calls his fishing move. I don't like Riddle that much. But this was intriguing to me just because it's like low-key showing that they're going to work together, but not. Like, this is basically the definition of a makeshift tag team. But I don't mind this. I think it was really good. I think it's very different from the stuff that Orton has really done in 2020 because he was like this mega heel. And Orton and Riddle are still heels, but it's like in the goofy comedical way. And it kind of reminds me of, like, The Rock and Mick Foley. And, like, Mick Foley's, like, this jokingly character that's trying to break The Rock at any second. And Riddle's trying to break Orton, but Orton's like, no, like, we have to be serious. We have to win the tag titles. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. So, I'm excited to see where this goes. Obviously, like I said, I think this is leading to AJ and Omos versus RK Bro. I think it's gonna happen at SummerSlam. So, we'll see where it goes from there. But Raw wasn't that bad. Like I said, the wrestling-wise on both Raw and SmackDown have really been improving since after WrestleMania, which I really enjoyed. But it's just the storyline-wise and little things that I'm like, damn, why are they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? So, yeah, like I said, like Raw, it's slowly improving. Raw's like a roller coaster. Like, some things are good, some things are really bad, some things are okay. You gotta go along for the ride. But that's it for me. Make sure to like this video, comment what you guys thought about Raw, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Make sure to click that bell for notifications and subscribe. Let's see. You see me tomorrow for my NXT review. If you have not checked out, go back